Welcome back to Free Media. I'm Robby Soave.
And I'm Niall Stanage. Former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg fielded a question about Israel's war in Gaza during a recent interview with Pod Save America. His response underwhelmed many on the left. Let's watch.
Do you think it's time to recognize a Palestinian state?
I think that's a profound question that arouses a lot of the biggest problems that have happened with Israel's survival, Israel's right to survival in the diplomatic scene. And many of the people who have taken that step historically have done so for different reasons than what we see happening with European countries. I think we need to step back and we need to do whatever it takes to ensure that there is a real two-state solution and that no one, not even the likes of Netanyahu, can veto the international community's commitment to a two-state solution where you have Palestinians and Israelis living with safety, with security, with rights.
So people on the left hated this answer, and the more times I watch it, the worse it becomes. Like, I don't mean this facetiously, it's like AIPAC was pointing a gun at him while he gave this answer. He also gave an equally not straightforward answer about continuing to arm the Israelis, which we do indirectly, but we do it by giving them money that they then must use to purchase weapons from us. That's just a subsidy of the state of Israel that many on the right find objectionable, because why are American taxpayer dollars being spent abroad? I think this moment, I mean, not that I'm giving advice to Democrats, but I would certainly support a policy of greater distance with respect to the U.S. toward Israel. The left universally supports that. What was he doing there?
I have no idea.
Took his Ambien before he did that interview?
I thought that was a terrible answer, honestly. It was a terrible answer for several reasons. One is the outrage about what is happening in Gaza keeps increasing and I think keeps encompassing more people on the political spectrum. I mean, you've mentioned several people on the right or several influencers on the right, as well as Marjorie Taylor Greene being the obvious example, who really have major problems now with not only what Israel is doing, but the degree to which the United States is underwriting that. Yes. But on the left, I mean, the outrage about it is enormous, and the desire for a more active distancing of the United States from Israel is very profound. And that answer was just a very mealy-mouthed, very evasive, but also very sort of a generation ago. That's the sort of answer that you could easily imagine being given 20 years ago, rather than an American political picture that is not only altered by what has happened in Gaza over the past 22 months, but is in fact been altered by a generational shift where young people across the board are more
100%
sympathetic to the Palestinian cause overall than was previously.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's trying to, because it's clear from other points in that interview, he's trying to criticize what is this administration's position on Israel, but what he said there is exactly this administration and the previous administration is the same view, that some vague, there should maybe sort of be a two-state solution, but it's very complicated. Look, I think that aspect of this policy is complicated. I don't want to ever be one of those moral or foreign policy reductionists. It's like, no, it's so simple to solve this. It's not. It's a little bit more simpler from the standpoint of whether we need to be involved. We clearly don't.
Right.
No one wants to. Young people in both parties don't want to. An increasing number of commentators don't want to, and political people. Obviously I disagree with the left on a lot. So there are areas of policy where I think Democrats embracing the left would be bad policy, and then I'm more undecided on whether it would be good politics. I am perfectly willing to admit when things I believe are not popular. It could be that the Democrats will be more successful by just going full Mamdani type thing across the board, even if I think it's bad politics. But this is an issue where they could do the more left thing, and it would clearly be more popular.
Right.
And then I would agree with it on the merits. It's where half the conservative, or more than half, this is becoming like a 70-30 or 80-20 issue among Republicans under 30.
Exactly. And to that point, someone like Buttigieg doesn't have to embrace the most obviously left-wing elements of the critique of Israel. There is a left-wing critique, settler colonialism and all that jazz. But you don't actually need to believe in that in order to have a resistance to the United States giving billions and billions of dollars every year to this country that has been, in my view, just slaughtering the Palestinians for 22 months and is now complicit in their starvation.
And is about to do an occupation that seems just so obviously bound to fail, although I guess maybe it depends what their actual goal behind it is, but is going to run into the exact same kind of problems they have already experienced and we've experienced during our attempted occupations or remakings of countries in the Middle East. Like the idea that, I don't know, maybe they're so responsible for the territory now that they've destroyed it so thoroughly that there's just, what else can you do at this point but take some kind of direct management of it? I guess that's preferable to besieging it and allowing in no food, but it's going to cause, it's going to be bad.
Well, and to your point about the parallels with American-led occupations, Netanyahu is talking about some sort of administration in the end for Gaza that obviously isn't Hamas, but also isn't the Palestinian Authority. And so what it's going to be essentially an Israeli-approved administration of Gaza. Like, how is that going to work after you've just killed 60,000 people? They're automatically going to be collaborators.
Is the moderate, pro-Western, Israeli-supporting Palestinian government in the room with us right now? It doesn't exist.
Exactly. That's not going to. There's no possibility of that happening. Just finally on this point, Robby, broadening slightly beyond just the Gaza point, I do think the awfulness of that Buttigieg answer is a political problem because it goes to the critique of him that is often made of, like, what does he really believe? He is a very good communicator, and I've seen the same clips, well, mostly he is. Not there, he wasn't, but, we've all seen the clips of him on Fox or on more right-leaning places where he puts his case very well. But what is the core of what Pete Buttigieg actually believes? And that sort of evasive answer on Israel and the Palestinians really put a spotlight on that again.
I think that problem and the fact that he's just inevitably tied to the Biden administration because he was a very high-level official in it, and the Biden administration remains and will continue to remain very unpopular, it is going to be probably insurmountable for whatever presidential bid I fully expect him to make. But we shall see. And then there's always the VP slot.
There is. Perfectly made for him.
Yes. Thanks so much for watching Free Media. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of good old Niall Stanage over here, and we'll see you next week.